I want to talk some more about this report out from Oxfam about the wealth gap in the United States, how the top 1% own 50% of the stock market, and the bottom 50% of us, we own 1.1% of the stock market. Really shakes up what you think about your 401k or your IRA, your retirement plan, and how the stock market is supposed to work for working class people and help us be able to have a comfortable retirement. No, it's the super rich who control the vast majority of the stock market. So when corporations are working to post those really high, really good numbers every quarter so that they get really big dividends for their shareholders, so their stock is going up and up and up, that's not about you and me. That's not about our little piddly IRA or 401k. No, that's all about helping the super rich increase the wealth gap, hoard more and more resources. When we prioritize corporations' profit so that it can increase their shareholder price, that's not about us. That's about the oligarchy cementing their power. So this reporting from Oxfam that looked at federal government data from 1989 to 2022 showed that over more than 30-year period, the bottom 50% of America basically hasn't increased their wealth or security at all, while the top 0.1% have seen an increase in wealth of almost $40 million per household. Any of your relatives managed to save $40 million in the last 30 years? Yeah, the system is really rigged. It's really gamed against us. It's not built to help us. It's built to help the super rich. And now that we're living in Donald Trump's America, the exploitation is more than ever. The grift is bigger than ever. Somebody came at me the other day in my comments because I like to use the word thievocracy. I've said kleptocracy, but the synonym for that is thievocracy. And I think it's much more transparent what we're talking about. A thievocracy or kleptocracy is when the super rich enrich themselves off of the taxpayer. They use government contracts and channels and corruption of the government in order to steal money from the wealth of the nation, to steal money from the people. I mean, classic example of how that's happening is how the Republicans voted to gut Medicaid and to actually make cuts to Medicare as well, get rid of the ACA subsidies, slash all kinds of programs that are important for us, make our taxpayer dollars work for us, the American people. And instead, they are giving giant tax breaks to billionaires and they are ballooning the debt what is it, $3 trillion now? So they're passing that debt on to our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, so that the richest 0.1% can live. They already have more money than they could spend in 10 or 20 lifetimes. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand why we are catering to the super rich. It makes no sense to me, right? Meanwhile, they're trying to have people down here fight amongst each other. Like, oh, you're earning $45,000 a year. You should hate that person earning $200,000 a year. But when we're not looking at people who are actually the source of our oppression, who are earning hundreds of millions of dollars a year, or even tens of millions of dollars a year. I just finished a book. I was going to pull it up on my phone, but I'll skip it. A book called Limitarianism. No, I did pull it up because I want to make sure that I got the title right. It's called The Case for Limitarianism. That's a mouthful. It's by Ingrid Robbins. This is what it looks like. I got it on Libby from the library. This was a real good read. If you want to get a little window into how I think about money, this is a great read. So one of the arguments that the author makes is that maybe we should have a wealth cap of $10 million. Nobody needs to be making more than $10 million. I don't know what's going on in the kitchen. I got all my college kids home on break. So it's a rowdy house. We got a small house and there's a lot of adult-sized people in here. Right. Like, Republicans, I think a lot of their belief that they're a temporarily embarrassed millionaire, billionaire. A lot of this bootlicking for the super rich is because we've been taught to believe this false notion of pull yourself up by your bootstraps, of like, all you have to do is work hard and you too can become super rich in this country. So people look at Elon Musk or Peter Thiel and they don't see all of the corruption. They don't see the thievocracy. They don't see that the system is rigged to benefit the super rich, especially those with generational wealth. They see that guy and they're like, if I work hard, I could be like him. I could have that level of comfort and power and wealth and ease and pleasure in my life. And so when you go for the super rich, when you say, maybe we should tax the super rich, people have this kind of weird parasocial relationship. They're having this weird, like, vicarious experience that they're living through Elon Musk. And so if you say, maybe we should have a wealth cap, maybe we should tax the super rich, they think that that's a direct attack on them. And I do think that's why some of this messaging about a wealth cap, about like, hey, do y'all know what the tax rate was like in this country before Ronald Reagan? Are you aware that we actually used to tax the rich? I think a lot of that falls flat because people are thinking, oh my God, like what if I get to a place where I'm actually earning enough to be comfortable and secure, and then the government wants to take it all away? I pay way more in taxes in terms of percentage of my income than the super rich do, and I'm sure you do as well. So there was a report a while back, I think Oxfam also put it out, that said that the super wealthy in this country pay about 8% in federal taxes. How much do you pay? What tax rate are you paying? They've gamed the system to work for themselves so that they get all these loopholes. They avoid paying their fair share of taxes. But too many people are indoctrinated with this idea of like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, of toxic individualism. Like, I gotta accumulate for me and mine. I have a right to make as much as I want, and nobody can question that. That is a narrative that is drilled into all of us in this country. Work hard and you shall prosper, right? You should be able to work hard and become just as rich as all of the robber barons. Don't look at all of the ways that they're actually stealing from the wealth of this nation, stealing from other people in order to accumulate that wealth. No. Just believe this false narrative that it's work hard and you will become wealthy. Definitely don't look at how the system is gamed and rigged for the super rich. Because we've been indoctrinated with all of that, anytime we try and talk about wealth caps in the United States, anytime we try and talk about taxing whatever income you have over a certain amount, it really freaks people out. And I appreciated in this book about limitarianism, we're not talking about an ascetic culture. We're not talking about a nation where we're not talking about like, maybe this is in opposition to my permaculture ethics a little bit, but I think a lot of people envision this kind of like communist notion where you just get the same amount as everybody else, right? And libertarians and Republicans think like, well, I work harder than this person over here, so why is it that they get my share, right? They perceive it as being theft, right? I'm working hard and they're getting a share of my income. They don't have to work as hard, but we're all getting paid the same thing. That's not what this book suggests, and that's not what I would suggest either. In permaculture, when we talk about the ethic of fair share, it's everybody has enough to live a comfortable quality of life. You should not be hoarding excess resources while other people's basic needs are not being met. And that's sort of what a wealth cap is getting at. But there should be the potential for some people to earn more than others, right? There should be the potential for us to still be able to work hard and to achieve in this country. The entire concept of a wealth cap does not negate that. So limitarianism's ceiling that they're proposing of like, you can't earn more than $10 million a year, or you can't have more than $10 million in your bank account. Like, I don't actually think that that's a terrible way to view things. And then we should talk about what wealth is considered when you look at that. Because if you've inherited a house or you live in a part of the country where houses are really expensive, you can have a very modest home and it'll be worth $800,000 or $1 million very quickly. So should we set that aside and only look at other assets when we are assessing what that wealth cap is? Like, we should be having these conversations. Because while we are so busy spending our energy defending the oligarchy, they are robbing us blind. We live in a thievocracy with overt corruption. It's gotten so much worse under the Trump regime. Let me just read a little bit here from this Oxfam report. And then if you're watching this on YouTube, I will link to the full report and you can go read it. It's quite good. The data confirms what people across our nation already know instinctively. The new American oligarchy is here. Billionaires and mega corporations are booming while working class families struggle to afford housing, healthcare, and groceries. Now, the Trump regime and Republicans in Congress risk turbocharging that inequality as they wage a relentless attack on working people and bargain with livelihoods during the government shutdown. Right, this came out in November. But what they're doing isn't new. It's doubling down on decades of regressive policy choices. What's different now is how much undemocratic power the super rich have amassed. Oxfam's report talks about this huge wealth disparity and like how do we get out of this? How do we dig out of this in this country? They say we need to realign our priorities as a nation. Rebalance power, unrig the tax code, reimagine the social safety net, and support workers' rights. These are all essential to create a more inclusive and cohesive society. I love this last line. Together, these priorities speak to our deepest needs as human beings, to live with security and agency, to live free from exploitation. That should be the American dream, the American ethos, not pull yourself up by your bootstraps. not aspiring to live like Elon Musk, who clearly is a miserable fuck, but aspiring to live free in the US.